Shalom, all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Harakah Kadash, the one that said elder apostles, the great most on the rule well, and Shalom to the brothers doing the work concerning truth. Um, you get this article on another place where you have, age verification, um, as well as, I guess for this one, parental consent for social media. And this is looking like the angle that has been found to kind of start, locking down certain parts of the internet. Because you have in the UK the Child Safety Act, I believe it's called, um, where you've basically got it so if you're going to access anything, any kind of adult content from the UK, and then adult content don't just mean um, uh, it basically anything that could be deemed what's it called? Anything that could be deemed dangerous or whatever to children gets sectioned off. So, parts of like Wikipedia or some shit will even get blocked off. Like, historical information and whatnot. These things can get blocked off as well. So, like the UK's kind of been ahead with these kind of push, with this kind of a push. But then with like a big aspect of this is just they've really found the angle to then start carving up, cutting off bits of the internet so you can be justified and like, oh, if you're gonna access it, you're gonna have to show your ID, you're gonna have to, do a facial scan or whatever to prove you're not a child. And then that then gives them, like, how Russia, China, they kind of have access to, okay, people who access certain parts of the internet, or certain sites, or say certain things online, they've got a link to the ID, the person who's saying it. Because a lot of, I think they said in the UK, since the law came in, there's been like a 50% drop or something in access to like adult sites and whatnot, which they might be saying like, oh, it's kids not accessing it, but then more likely than not, it's like kids have got workarounds to them things. I remember it was the same. It was like in school, just fucking years back. They used to be they'd block certain, like if you went to the library at school, there'd be certain websites that you could access, but then even then at like age 10, 11, whatever, we're finding workarounds to kind of access these different things. It's more likely to be like the older generations that are less tech savvy that will just kind of comply with these things. But yeah, we read on. So it says Mississippi may require age verification, parental consent for social media. Supreme Court says the Supreme Court on Thursday allowed Mississippi to enforce a state law that requires the nation's largest social media companies to verify the age of their users and obtain parental consent for minors, an effort the state said is intended to protect children from online predators. And yeah, that's the thing as well, is because these things are being done under the guise of, oh, it's protecting children, like you functionally can't even, like it's like if you're saying, nah, that's, you're going too far. They'll be like, well, we don't want to keep children safe. But then obviously it's like with if you're making it so you have to you have to go to such lengths. Go to such lengths then it's you know it's gonna impact more than just protecting those kids. But then you know, as far as pushing, you know, further controls and restrictions on the internet, it's a good angle because with, you know, they tried, like in the UK they were trying to use the online bullying, the online trolling as a justification, like, oh, okay, well, you see, you know, these people are trolling, blah blah blah, but you know, people are getting bullied online. So given that, you need to, like, how can you justify like people are being trolled online? So it's like, you know, they're saying racist things, they're saying these things, they're being sexist, whatever. Like, you know, you should link their ID to it, and you know, and that didn't get anywhere. But now where it's like, okay, you know, you got children being exploited online, children being XYZ online. So you know, you need everyone that's kind of on it to, you know, to whew, everyone that's on it to you know, to verify their age and make sure they're overage. And this is like, these things like obviously adults will still be able to access, but it's like kids will find workarounds for a lot of these things. um you know, that's the reality of it. And then that's also why they're looking to ban VPNs and whatnot, ways to circumvent, because you know, really the bigger goal is you know, locking down the internet. And then either you're browsing it, and then they have your ID, they have your name, where they can tie it to, okay, this is the IP address he's using, this is like the, you know, the phone he's accessing it from, or whatever. You know, he logged into, it's like there's the same IP address that logged into this website on this account, and then that's got his name. Okay, so what else has he been, you know, checking? What else has he been looking up? Then you go to, you know, other social medias. Okay, what's he been saying? Because that's, you know, as far as the you know, the bigger thing is like restricting access on what's said online. And ultimately it's because of this truth, man, because of this word, the internet, you know, the unicorns been the force to push this word out, man. And this word is a key thing that's doing harm, damage, and bringing about an end to you know, to this place, to this system. The elite are you know, in fear, they're worried, they're stressed. Because why? Because, you know, they see this word going out, and it's doing severe damage, man. They're getting boxed up, man. They're getting taken out, and you know, they've the internet is one of those things they've been desirous to end, but then it's something that it's about prophecy, man. That word needs to go out, man. Whether, you know, whether these guys like it or not. But you know, there's that time up until which, you know, the word has to go out. And then yeah, it says there were no dissents, and the court did not explain its reasoning as is often the case on its emergency docket. Justice Brett Kavanaugh, a member of the court's conservative wing, wrote a brief concurrence asserting that the Mississippi law is likely unconstitutional, but said that the internet companies who sued had not sufficiently demonstrated that they would be harmed by a temporary order in favor of the state. So it's interesting. It says it's likely unconstitutional. So really, the Constitution. People talk about, oh, the Constitution. That shit don't matter. As far as when it comes out, it's you know, what's what's Trump doing now? He's rallying the troops, man. He's got the troops out, and you know, he's using them as a battering ram to, you know, to have his will done. So, and you know, this really comes down to you know, Esau's gonna do whatever the hell he wants to do. These elite are gonna give the green light for all kinds of chaos to go down. And you know, that, oh, the Constitution, all that's in the bin, man. And acknowledge that it's unconstitutional, but whatever. Funny as hell. A coalition of social media platforms that includes Facebook, X, and Instagram, and several outside uh, groups had urged the High Court to block enforcement of the state law, arguing it infringed on users' First Amendment rights. Though the law at issue in the case affects only Mississippians, many other states, both blue and red, have enacted similar requirements in recent years amid growing concerns over privacy and safety of young people online. Yeah. So, and the thing is obviously there's kids that are getting exploited online, but then more than anything, it's gonna be a parenting issue, because children ain't gonna get access to the fucking internet without their parent getting them a laptop or a phone or whatever, or an iPad. And as a parent, you can keep track on these things, but then a lot of these things that would be parenting issues, they're making them legal issues, making them lawful, and then that impacts the wider internet as well. And then it's like it's one of those that it kind of has the deflective shield of, so you want children to get, you want children getting exploited. Like, how you meant to? They're like, well, nah, but does the whole fucking internet need to be locked down? But that's what the objective is. Control over the internet, either restricting traffic or, kind of showing who you are to then thingy in it, get access to those things. The Electric Frontier Foundation, which is supporting the social media companies in the case, said it is tracking laws in at least 10 other states requiring parental consent or age verification for online services. The group, along with several others, have filed a brief in the case at the Supreme Court, describing the Mississippi law as a well-intentioned but fundamentally flawed effort to protect minors online. And yeah, that's the thing is ultimately it's not going to stop kids accessing these things, because skirting things. I know it's like we get back in the day with like people pirating like movies and music and whatnot. They're trying with the you wouldn't steal a car. That whole meme. These are things where it's like the legal system is behind as far as, but then it's like with how centralized the internet has become around like social media as well. That's where you get that wider control, because in the wider internet, average fucking websites just set up by some geezer, in his garage. A lot of them would just be like, you just be doing whatever the hell off in these little websites out and wherever. But now that everyone kind of needs to access like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, everyone's kind of centralized around like maybe like 7 to 10 websites or something. Then access to those, restriction on those impacts a big amount of things. And then they can just say, okay, well, if you want access, give your ID. And then, they've got what they want. This seems like it's gonna be, the big push with in the Western world anyway, because Australia's already got it through, the UK's got theirs through. Like they said there were 10 other states in the US already, and then Mississippi's got the emergency order. But then what did it say? Mississippi officials said the state is responding to high-profile reports of sextortion and other online crimes. In one case, a 16-year-old Mississippi boy committed suicide after an Instagram user posing as a female initiated a sexual encounter and then demanded a $1,000 payment under threat of exposing the exchanges on the internet. Yeah, so, an incident like that then just kind of be like, oh shit, you committed to fuck. just pass a law. But then it's yeah, like what the fuck? That's like a one situation. And then where the fuck were his parents whilst all this was happening? Like how the fuck is this guy just getting message like, hey, some random fuck on Instagram saying like, yo, send me a picture of XYZ or whatever the fuck. That's then it's yeah. These are things that I don't even know, man. But it's all prophecy really. Amos 8:11 it says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Most High Power, that will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh, and they shall wonder." Well, yeah, that's it. Not a famine of bread, nor water, but of hearing the word. And the unicorn the internet's that chief location you really hearing that word. And even then, it's like brothers on the highways and byways, and then it's getting streamed online. But that's all gonna be shut down, because even to be on the highways and byways is gonna be it's gonna be a wrap. That time of Jacob's trouble, man, where just being out here is gonna be peak. Just existing on the face of the planet Earth is gonna be on top, man. You're gonna need a covering. So hey, when that word's gone, it's gonna get peak for those that really didn't, give heed. They're just gonna, yo, where the prophets at? Just like with the pandemic, all of a sudden, everyone cared about biblical prophecy. Daniel 4:12-4 select. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Yeah, shut up the words and seal the book until the time of the end. But then what in the time of the end, knowledge shall be increased. And that's, how it's been. We've been in the end of the end, really. And, the knowledge has been increased, the word's gone out. That's why it's like, bro, it's like most people, a lot of people, whenever they come up, to the camp, you chat to them, you ask them, oh, what's the mark of the beast? They'll know. Most people know it's implantable, oh, it's microchip. That's something that has become so is so gone so mainstream. Like it's crazy. But then that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of the word. And that's why it's like these things, it's cold as hell. But then what? It's like even with it having gone mainstream, a lot of people are still just like, whatever. I'll get whether it will be a matter of safety or whether it will be a matter of they're that invested within Esau's system. They're just thinking, oh yeah, you're gonna get brain chip. You're gonna be have Google in your brain. You're just gonna be doing calculating 9,702,2091 times by 347, just like instantly get out. These things that people are thinking of. But then that's the thing is what you call it. Now now's the time where knowledge of those things has come out, and that's what the elite don't like, man. Psalms 55:20 it says, "You've put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords." And yeah, that's been the MO of Esau Edom, the so-called white man, since he's rose back up, man. Since that deadly wound was healed, since he was able to reestablish himself as the Romans on the earth, man, and then build back up his empire, and then bear all, man. This guy, he says one thing, but then in actual application, he'll flip on that, and that's a big part of this. Oh, we're doing it to protect children. That's the smooth words, man. But the war is really just, okay, restrict the internet, restrict people's ability to say certain things, and then just like you got now, you got Sally, you got Sue, off in Bournemouth or in fucking Bath or in wherever the fuck, going on Twitter and saying get him out, typing get him out on Twitter, and then the bobbies are coming round banging on the door, saying, oh, you got a license for that, and then she doesn't, and they smash her over the head, they throw her in jail, and they say, yeah, you don't have to fucking say that online, you tart. Because why? It's all about restricting. In reality, it's really about restricting access, and it's about control. That's really that. Really the point of these laws, man. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom, shalom.